All right, halftime in Sacramento, and not the best half of basketball I've ever seen. I'll tell you that. 51-43, though the Kings lead, and at this point, you just need a W before you hit the road. But that was, I didn't think that was a well played half by either team. What did you think?
Yeah, for the second game in a row, it looks like the Kings are on the second night of a back-to-back to me, Grant.
Keegan Murray did not score in 13 minutes. The Kings from three only made four. They only shot 38% from the field. They do lead, though, 51-43. We bring in Jerry Reynolds. Jerry, your thoughts on the first 24 minutes? I was just saying very blasé, not that impressive.
I think I'd rather taken a nap at first half. Actually, been more productive. I mean, that was hard to watch.
Yeah.
Like you pointed out, I mean, they're ahead, and that's the best thing. Certainly, really the pace of the game is just slowed. I mean, due to the free throws and mistakes and all. Yeah, the only positive I can come up with, the defense is pretty good. Other than that, not much.
Yeah. Ryan,
Yep.
what was the one thing that stood out to you in the first half that I was impressed with the start. I thought the first 5 minutes, Kings looked like okay. I was very impressed with how they started the game. Not that
Yep.
impressed with the middle of that first half. Just too many lows for me.
Yeah, the most impressive thing for me this half has been Kevin Huerter. I think he's been playing very good basketball, very high IQ basketball. He's in the right spots. I think he's ahead of schedule for somebody that has been off as long as he has been.
And I'm looking at the big picture here. I know it's very early in the season, and I get that. And yeah, I would love to see the Kings get the W, which is most important. But it's how they play too. I mean, they're hitting the road. They got a game tomorrow. They need to start picking it up a little bit here, guys.
Yeah, that offensive pace, it really just doesn't seem something's out of whack there. The ball really isn't moving as well. They'll push the ball up and really can't get into anything. It doesn't seem. Just get a win and move on. I mean, Utah plays tonight as well, so it's a back-to-back for both teams. But boy, the energy we saw, as you pointed out, in the first 5 minutes was really good. And you really had expectations, or I did, of a really exciting game. And then, boy, it just kind of. So that's kind of what we got to see, in the third quarter. See if we get back to really creating some energy out there.
Speaking of Utah, they lost in Dallas tonight, 110-102. So when they take the floor tomorrow at home, they'll be 0-3, and that's going to be a big game for the Jazz. I don't want to leap ahead, but I'm just letting people know that the Jazz are going to be really focused for this game tomorrow. But first things first, the Kings think get a W here.
Yeah, the Jazz played the Kings well. In fact, that was the Kings dress rehearsal. If you look at the preseason, they ended up coming out ahead of that one. So you got to get some type of momentum going forward, and a fairly strong end to the second quarter, Jerry, much better than the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, basically it's a matter of trying to jump on them in the third quarter, and I think you can have a comfortable game. There's no reason not to have a comfortable win here tonight, but you let these guys hang around. They have enough talent to make it tough for you.
Oh, yeah.
And Grant, those guys, Simons, those guys are talented players. So if you let them hang around, you're going to be in for it. But the Kings really need to set the tempo here in the third, right out of the box. Let them know that they're not going to get a win tonight.
Jerry,
we had a Keenan Ellis sighting, Ryan. 11 minutes in that first half.
Yeah, it's surprising based on Coach Brown's comments before the game, but I thought Keon played well. I thought defensively he picked up the tempo a little bit. Out of him and McLaughlin, he did much better than Jordan when it came to the defensive side of the ball. One thing I want to point out really quick, Jerry, is only 10 points between Simons and Grant. That's got to worry us a little bit. What do you guys think?
Should worry you a lot because both those guys are capable of, 15, 18 points apiece in the second half. I did think they were defended well. I mean, I'll say that. I didn't see where they had a lot of good opportunities. So we'll see. And then I think that also, I think a key for me is how the Kings attack their zone. They're doing a lot of zone stuff, and the Kings really doing a lot of sightseeing, not much cutting, not much moving.
Yeah, my social media platform has been blowing up today, especially with the Kings. And I'm just letting people know I'm answering this on the stream, like I said I would. Uh, Mike Brown's rotations have absolutely nothing to do with him getting used to his assistant coaches. I guess Katie made that comment in the first half. That's an embarrassingly stupid comment. I don't even know what else to say other than that's just. I'm assuming it's true because I'm getting so many messages on my Twitter feed, but that's asinine. That has nothing to do with it. Listen, I think Mike Brown, Jerry, you would be able to answer this a lot better than I would. He had a very, I guess, dissected roster in the preseason. He had no Herter, he had no Lyles, and then boom, 2 days before the first game, they get a full green light. They're able to play. So you want to incorporate that in, and you're juggling. I get that. That makes sense to me, but it has nothing to do with the assistant coaches. That's stupid.
Well, it's a veteran team, and Mike Brown knows his team. I mean, if he doesn't know him going into the third year, when is he going to know him? Because he's had it. So,
right. That's very true.
So no, I mean, I understand where you might not be just set totally on your rotations because Herter and Lyles weren't available. How you're going to play that? Probably the only question I ever had was, with Keon Ellis, to where. Most people you expect him to play quite a bit, and also so he didn't play very little, and then none at all. Now he's back to playing. So, but to me, as you've said many times, let's wait about 10 games, and that rotation needs to be straightened out a little bit to where where your bench is, who your starters are, and a few things, and then you'll have a good idea where this team's going.
What's the key here, Ryan, for you in the second half?
Play physical without fouling. You got Domas and Keegan both with 3 fouls. You got to get Keegan Murray going. And quite frankly, if you want the pace up, you got to get the ball in De'Aaron Fox's hands, guys. You got to let him bring it up, and you got to pick up a little bit more full court. Jerry?
What about you, Jerry?
Yeah, really energy to start the third. I mean, really get out after and put some pressure on the ball. And I agree with Ryan, too. I think Foxy needs to be more aggressive, call for the ball. He's a guy that can break down that defense. And then, of course, Keegan, he's been so good. So, Keegan, hopefully you emerge and be Keegan again.
I got the Kings win this one 112-97. Guys, what do you think?
I'd go about 114 to 101.
Okay.
I'm going to say 111 to 103.
Any way the Kings lose this game? I know that I shouldn't say that based on what we watched last year in the fourth quarter that the Lakers had the other night. So, yeah, there is a way they can lose this game. But sure. This is too big of a game heading out onto the road for 4. I think you're going to see a very good second half for Sacramento.
I do too. I mean, but you're right. I mean, there's always ways to lose because we've watched in Detroit last year, so there's always ways.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, you're going out on the road a while. You have to have a win tonight. You just must.
Yep.
Jerry, really quick, I want to ask this. There's this big focus on spraying the ball, and it seems like it's leading to some hesitancy, especially from Domantas Sabonis and some of the other guards. Do you think that's a spray thing, or do you think that's as a result of the length of Portland?
Well, that's a great point. I haven't seen really the ball being sprayed very well, to tell you the truth, compared to last year. For whatever reasons, I don't know if it's Portland's zone and length a little bit. I think that's probably true. But I do think as good as DeMar is playing, I mean, he really does have the ball a lot. And so that maybe slows the offensive tempo a little bit. But as you pointed out, I mean, they're not getting a lot of threes compared to last year. So that to me, that's a very interesting thing to follow, because I know Mike Brown wants the ball sprayed around and a lot of threes. Sometimes I think too many.
Right.
But I just don't see the same level of ball movement.
I don't either.
And people,
it's very stagnant. Very stagnant to me.
Very stagnant to me.
Yeah. The other key that I think, if I'm looking at this from the Blazers, is Jeremy Grant. I mean, he's a guy that has been scoring in bunches here early in the season, and he only has 4. There's no way the Blazers are going to win this game if he doesn't get going in the second half. Not going to happen.
No, I mean he can. I mean he's
Uh-huh.
been a tough guy at the Kings. He's obviously a small forward. I mean he really isn't much bigger than DeMar DeRozan. So
Yep.
you could almost, if he gets going, I'd almost try to put a guard on him. I think Fox or with length, I think could bother him more than normal forwards.
Well, 24 minutes left. We will have the post-game show. So let's hope we're lighting the beam tonight for the first time in this young season.
That beam needs lit. My gosh, it's gonna clamber over if you don't get it lit here pretty soon.
Yeah, that old man down in the basement that burns the purple, he's getting grumpy.
I was gonna say, man, he's got that thing stocked full now, ain't he? That'll
Jerry,
pass out on us.
That's right. Jerry, we appreciate you, and we'll talk to you tomorrow at halftime.
Talk to you tomorrow at halftime. Bring them
See you,
home,
Jerry.
boys.
Thank you, Jerry.
All right. Well, Kings need to get a win. I don't care how they do it, Rhino. I know you are and everyone else. So we'll be back here, post-game show in about an hour from now, and let's hope it is good news. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us here at the half. We'll talk to you right after the game on If You Don't Like That. Bye-bye now.